General Schwartzkopf, if you will please step to the podium, I'll make a couple of presentations on behalf of the Truman Foundation, then let you say a few words to those assembled here.
I'm delighted to be back in Kansas City. I have great memories of my year here before. I was a student at the Commanding General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth, and it was my first year of marriage. I was married to my wonderful wife of 31 years, Brenda, who happened to be a flight attendant with TWA Airlines and flew out of Kansas City all the time. So, we had many wonderful times here during that year at Leavenworth, followed which I spent a year in Vietnam. So I really am pleased to be back here. I'd also like to very briefly congratulate all the people who won scholarships here today. That's a wonderful accomplishment, and you're well on your way to brilliant careers in the service of the world. I'd also like to say to the international students that are here, congratulations to you. Not many people know this, but I spent the better part of my teenage life abroad. I was in Iran for a year, I was in Switzerland for a year, I was in Germany for 2 years, I was in Italy for a year, and I'm absolutely convinced that any success that I may have had in the international arena came from the great experience I had living in those countries and learning that there's always more than one right answer, and all we have to do is look long enough and hard enough and we can find mutual agreement on almost any subject at all. So congratulations to you all for being here. I am particularly proud to receive an award with the name of Harry S. Truman on it. I lecture all over the country on the subject of leadership, and I can think of no one who is the epitome of leadership more than Harry S. Truman. I tell people that leadership is a combination of two things. It is competence and it is character. You have to know your job to be a good leader. But if you have to go short on one or the other, let's go short on competence, because character is what leadership is all about. Character. When I think of the decisions that Harry S. Truman had to make, and the decisions that he then came up with, it is a reflection of his very great character. When the really tough decisions of life have to be made, when you know what the popular decision would be, when you know what the decision would be that would make your boss happy, you know what the decision would be that would make you look good, when you know that you have to make a decision that you won't receive the blame for if it goes wrong, but you will get all the credit if it goes right. In the middle of the night, when you lie awake thinking about that decision, that's when this thing called character really counts. That's when you must make up your mind to do what's right, regardless of where the chips may fall. I can think of two decisions right off the top of my head that Harry S. Truman made. One was the desegregation of the armed forces, a particularly unpopular decision at that time, but one that was absolutely necessary. And the other, the awesome decision to use atomic bombs on Japan. That, I am sure, was the most difficult decision that anyone ever has had to make. The recognition of the fact that human lives would be lost. I have been in a similar position, nowhere near with the ramifications that that decision that Harry S. Truman made had, and I can tell you that none of us, absolutely none of us, go ahead and make a decision like that when we know it's going to cost even one human being their life, without the greatest of soul searching, without decisions and thinking and rethinking over and over again the ramifications of your decision, and without clearly in the final analysis making that decision with a recognition of the fact that yes, we might cost human lives, but in the long run we will save many more than we will take. And that is a very, very tough decision to make. So it is a great honor, believe me, to be receiving this award with the name Harry S. Truman on it. Since I've been back to the States, the one thing I've heard more than anything else is people come up to me and say, thank you, General Schwartzkopf, for restoring my faith in my country and my military. And I say, wait a minute, wasn't General Schwartzkopf who restored your faith in your country and the military? It was 541,000 magnificent American men and women who were ripped who were ripped on short notice from the breast of their families and sent halfway around the world to the most inhospitable environment that you could ever imagine, where they had to face the heat and the insect of the desert during the day and the cold and the damp of the desert at night. They had to go to sleep dreaming dreams that no one should ever have to dream. And they had to face death, and regrettably, some of them died. That's who restored your faith in your country and your military, and you should never, ever forget that. But what I really want to say is, why did you ever lose faith in your country? Why did you ever lose faith in the United States of America? Yeah, we've got a lot of problems. There's no question about that. But with all apologies to our international guests here, in a very chauvinistic way, I am very proud to say that the United States of America is the greatest nation on the face of this earth, bar none. Absolutely bar none. Therefore, we have to stay that way. And one of the reasons why, things we have to do to stay that way, is to make sure that we continue to have the type of military we can all be proud of. Let me read you the words of Harry Truman on April the 5th, when he said, "To meet the responsibilities placed upon us today, this nation must be strong. A strong United States means a country that maintains a military power commensurate with its responsibilities." That is as true today as it was at that time. And I think all of us need to take a hard look at what's happening to our armed forces out there, because the situation is not as happy as we might want. I hear all the time from people who try and tell us what a terrible country the United States of America is. They crawl out from under their flat rocks and they tell us how bad we are. They tell us what's wrong with us. They point to scandal in Washington, D.C. They point to riots in Miami. They point to crime in Los Angeles, and they say, this is what America is. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Harry Truman didn't believe that for 1 minute. Harry Truman said this about great nations in the same speech: "It means, most of all, a strong, united, confident people, clear in the knowledge of their country's destiny, unshaken and unshakable in their resolve to live in a world of free peoples at peace." The United States of America is not scandal in Washington, D.C. The United States of America is not riots in Miami. The United States of America is not crime in Los Angeles. You know what the United States of America is? It's you. America is great because of the American people. That's what makes this the greatest nation on the face of this earth. I have great confidence that we will continue in our quest for world peace, for human rights, for all of those other things that this nation has always stood for. But in the final analysis, it will be you, the American people, that continue to make this the greatest nation on the face of this earth. For that reason, I very proudly accept this award. Thank you very much.